So now for the really exciting stuff. Maybe. The analytical methodology, or patterns in schools of fish. To build our resource bank, each person took several sectors to study and then collate into a singular master resource list. Web-based resources were identified into three areas, being curriculum related, i.e. applicable to the national curriculum, non-curriculum related, or resources that would be very useful to schools and could be easily adapted into the curriculum format, and finally potential resources that were identified as such groups having the ability or information to create educational resources but haven't yet. To increase clarity and accuracy, cross-sectorial resources were counted as singular resources in its most relevant sector. For example, state fisheries organisations such as the Department of Fisheries in WA, although having resources on almost all sectors, would just be included in one group, in this case in the subgroup of policy and licensing. It was found that a large amount of potential resources identified had the capacity to skew the results, and therefore all noted potential resources without websites were treated as outliers and omitted from the analytics. All private interest groups that potentially contain resources, such as private recreational fishing programs, were also omitted due to the lack of ability of the public to view resources without financial incentive. So what did we find? In our study, we collected 73 different resources overall, and it became apparent that there were large gaps in online education resources. The above graph shows the amount of curriculum-related, non-curriculum-related, and potential resources identified across the studied sectors. The most resources were encountered for that of the aquaculture sector, which was 38.4% of all resources analysed. However, none were curriculum-related at all that we came across. The least resources were found in the Indigenous sector. However, 2/3 of these were curriculum-related. This next graph shows the variability of resource type identified in each sector. Of all sectors, only 16% of resources were identified as curriculum-related, and therefore more likely to be used in a classroom. Again, that's only 16% of all the different resources we discovered, with 3 sectors having no identifiable curriculum-related resources at all in our study. Policy and licensing had the most curriculum resources with just over 31%. Non-curriculum resources were the largest group of all identified resources, making up 59%. To show the possibilities of the promotion of existing educational resources, I'll now quickly talk about the analytics of marine waters, the site introduced to you by Stephanie earlier. As seen in the above table and graph, marine waters is extensively used nationally and internationally. The site had 32,000 sessions since March 2012, with almost a third, 9,981, of visitors returning. It has had over 124,470 page views, with an average of 3.88 page views per session. The average duration of a visit is almost 3.5 minutes. To put this into perspective, according to the Weevil Hazard Function model, a model used to analyse time to failure in websites, an average view to a website is 10 to 20 seconds. And in the majority of websites on the net, a visit is under a minute. Also in this one we have the uptake of international and national resources. So off marine waters, this one here is just in Australia. As you can see, WA is clearly the largest with 61% of resource use from marine waters. And overall, it's 70% is used by Australia. Now that might seem like most of it, but you do have to remember that it's over 32,000 sessions in 2012. So that's a lot for 30% going overseas. So I'd now like to hand over to Jackie, who will continue on.